We're going to head up to Canada, where a British Columbia man was previously convicted for the attempted kidnapping of a 13-year-old girl. Well, he's been sentenced to 18 months in jail after he tried to watch a woman shower at a community pool on Vancouver Island. This Jeffrey Epstein-looking chomo is 52-year-old Mark Istefan. He was found guilty of voyeurism in January, just 8 months after he was arrested at the Sooke and Electoral Area Parks and Recreation Commission Recreation Center in Sooke, British Columbia. At his trial, Western Communities Provincial Court Judge Ted Gouge heard that the victim, who was identified only as ZR in court documents, had been swimming at the community center in the morning of May 4th of last year, and then after returning to the gender-neutral change room and showering in a private cubicle, she saw the shadow of a man in the adjoining cubicle who appeared to be attempting to observe her by peering through the space between the bottom of the cubicle wall and the floor. Bad idea, Epstein chomo. And we got another one from Indiana here. This time he's from Jasper. This guy pled guilty to 2 counts of child molesting, and he's officially received his sentence. According to a release under the agreement, as a plea agreement figures, right? The sentence was limited to a total sentence of 10 years at the Indiana Department of Corrections. On February 27th, officials say that 76-year-old Maynard Jackson Jr. was sentenced to 8 years. He's also required to register as a sex offender. This all comes after Jackson was arrested back in December of 23 following accusations that he molested a young boy. Well, I hope you don't make those 10 years, if you know what I mean. See ya, chomo. Okay, if you're in the La Crosse area, you better watch out for this chomo. He's going to be out of prison tomorrow, and he's going to be roaming the neighborhood because he's homeless. That's right, no address listed for this guy, so remember that face if you live over that way. This is 66-year-old Roosevelt Wright Jr. And Wright just completed his sentence for kidnapping, and he's also had a previous conviction for a sexual assault on a child. The sheriff's office has assured residents that he will be monitored. Yeah, be careful out there. Here's another one from Wisconsin. Another inmate's been found dead at a troubled Wisconsin prison. 62-year-old Donald Meyer died at Waupun Correctional Institution. The State Department of Corrections spokesperson Kevin Hoffman said, "The Dodge County Sheriff's Office and the County Medical Examiner are investigating, and no further information was really available about this chomo." Yeah, chomo. Meyer was sentenced to 15 years in prison in 2012 on multiple counts of stalking a child. He was charged in September of 22 of the first-degree murder in Wood County in connection with the 1985 stabbing death of Benny Scruggs. That case was pending at the time of Meyer's death. Meyer's attorneys, listed in online court records as Andrew Hernandez and Annie Getzinger, didn't immediately respond to messages Tuesday. Meyer is the 4th Waupun inmate to die at the facility since June of 23. Dean Hoffman killed himself in solitary confinement that month. Tashawn Lemons died at the facility on October 2nd. Cameron Williams died there on October 30th. Their deaths remain under investigation also at this time. See ya, chomo. Wisconsin. The Barron County Sheriff's Department is informing the public about a sex offender being released. 48-year-old Corey Rain is set to be released on April 2nd, tomorrow. The news release states that Rain will be homeless in Barron County. We will update this story when we find out more for a potential residence for Rain. Rain was convicted on October 22nd of 18 for child enticement and second-degree sexual assault of a child. Chomo. The Sacramento County Sheriff's Office, with the help from the Sacramento Police Department, arrested 25-year-old J.W. Jesse Geiger for 2 counts of lewd or lascivious acts on a child by force or fear. The arrest comes after the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office Child Abuse Bureau, otherwise known as CAB, conducted a lengthy investigation into the abuse of an 8-year-old child. At the time of the arrest, Geiger was in possession of a firearm. He was then transported to the Sacramento County Jail and booked on a $400,000 bond. I mean, it's decent bond, but would have been $1 million if it was me. Detectives are concerned there may be additional and unreported victims also. Any community members in that area with information regarding this investigation are urged to contact the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office. Gotta hope there aren't any more victims out there. 8 years old. Disgusting. See ya, Chomo. Let's head down to New Mexico where we have a Las Cruces man. He was arrested and charged with having sexual relations with a minor. Officers arrested 30-year-old Freddie Martinez de la Cruz. The 14-year-old victim told a school counselor last week that she had had sex with an older man and was afraid that she may be pregnant. The victim then said she started talking to de la Cruz on social media, and of course, he groomed her. De la Cruz asked the teen for nude photos of her, to which the girl did send. The suspect then rented a hotel room to have sex with the teen. De la Cruz took several small bottles of Fireball liquor to the hotel, the document states. He then gave some liquor to the victim and another child who was also there. The man then instructed the other child to shower, and then while that happened, he had sexual intercourse with the 14-year-old. The other child got out of the shower and witnessed that sexual act. De la Cruz is charged with sexual exploitation of children, contributing to the delinquency of a minor, child solicitation by electronic device, criminal sexual contact of a minor, criminal sexual penetration, and bribery of a witness. We hope you rot in prison. See ya, Chomo. Alright, special treat from one of our predator catchers here. This one, of course, comes from Indiana. And as you can see from the logo in the center there, we know who it is. An Ohio man was arrested in Marion on 9 felony charges, including child solicitation and attempted child molesting over the weekend, after a predator catcher group began an investigation on him. The Grant County Sheriff's Office says 64-year-old Dennis James Roth was arrested on Saturday, March 30th, after it received a call from Predator Catchers Incorporated, PCI, good old Eric, Shonda, and Brooklyn, who informed law enforcement about Roth's presumed plan of picking up children for sexual exploitation. According to a release from the sheriffs, the arrest happened near the Dollar General on Southwestern Avenue and comes as a result of that investigation PCI started early March. This, of course, is an ongoing investigation by the police agencies in Ohio, along with the Grant County Sheriff's Office. Hope to see ya, not see ya, Chomo. Let's head down to Texas, where deputies announced on Monday the arrest of a Denison man on child sexual abuse charges last week. According to the Grayson County Sheriff's Office, deputies arrested William Joseph Smith, a 60-year-old, at his residence in the 200 block of Ross Avenue on Thursday. Investigators received information Smith was in the possession of pornographic materials of children under the age of 10, and they arrested him on 2 counts of possession of child sexual abuse material. During the investigation, it was confirmed that Smith did have these photos and videos in his possession, the sheriff's office said. But of course, this case too is still under investigation and will be forwarded to the Grayson County District Attorney's Office for prosecution. A Hernando County man was arrested and charged with 1 count of possession of child sexual abuse materials. On February 13th, Hernando County Sheriff's detectives received information regarding the possible possession and distribution of child sexual abuse materials. Subsequent investigation revealed a possible suspect, identified as this supposed Chomo, Joseph David Spain, a 21-year-old. Detectives wrote a search warrant for Spain's online accounts and subsequently served it to Spain's internet provider. The search warrant yielded the contents of Spain's account. And of course, upon reviewing the contents of Spain's account, detectives located a file of child sexual abuse materials. Now, on March 28th, detectives responded to Spain's residence to speak with them. During Spain's interview with detectives, Spain admitted to ownership of that account in question and to sending the file from that account to another computer. Spain was then placed under arrest and charged with possession of child sexual abuse material, 1 count, and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. His bond was then set at a measly $10,000. This investigation, however, continues. And when we get that information, you'll be sure to hear it here first on the Sex Offender Hit List. See ya, Chomo. A Woodstock man has been convicted of child sexual abuse. The Cherokee County District Attorney's Office announced this on March 28th. The Cherokee County Court found Romualdo de Pedraza, 27-year-old of Woodstock, guilty of aggravated child molestation and cruelty to children in the first degree. Sentencing will be set at a later date, but the charges stem from a Cherokee Sheriff's Office investigation that began back in August of 2020, when a child under the age of 10 disclosed that de Pedraza had sexually assaulted her. After the disclosure, a family member immediately called 911 to report those allegations, and then in a forensic interview, the child provided further details of the defendant's actions. During the 4-day trial, prosecutors called 7 witnesses to the stand, including law enforcement officers and an expert in forensic interviews and child abuse. The state presented 18 exhibits, one of which was a video recording of the child's forensic interview. But that one sat good with them. After deliberating for over 4 hours, the jury found the defendant guilty. See ya, Chomo. A Washington man was recently indicted on cyberstalking and child sexual abuse material charges in Alaska. This is Caden Olalila, 20-year-old of Tacoma, Washington. He allegedly distributed child sexual abuse material on January 19th of this year, according to the court documents. The next week, on January 24th to 25th, Olalila allegedly used social media to send messages to a victim describing his desire to sexually assault her. Olalila is also allegedly used allegedly used a different social media platform to send a victim unsolicited sexual image of himself and an unsolicited images depicting child sexual abuse as well on February 4th and 5th. How disgusting. Olalila was arrested on March 21st. The Department of Justice charged him with 1 count of sexual exploitation of a child, distribution of child sexual abuse material, as well as 2 counts of cyberstalking. And if convicted, this Chomo faces a sentence of 5 to 20 years for distribution of the child sexual abuse material and up to 5 years each on each count of cyberstalking. A federal district court judge will determine any sentence after considering the U.S. sentencing guidelines as well as other statutory factors. A Springfield man was sentenced to 20 years in prison for sexually abusing 2 children under the age of 14. 2 for 20. That's not cool. I mean, he should at least have 2 life consecutive sentences, right? Anyways, this is Gerald Albert Cooper, a 35-year-old. He pleaded guilty on March 26th to 2 counts of the unclassified felony of, check this out, statutory sodomy, attempted deviant sexual intercourse with a person less than 14 years old. According to online court records, Cooper waived his right to a sentencing assessment report, and Judge Todd Myers sentenced Cooper to 10 years in a Department of Corrections on both counts, for a measly 20 years because they're going to be served consecutively and stacked. As part of the plea agreement, prosecutors dropped 1 count of statutory sodomy and 1 count of child molestation. Cooper is currently in Greene County Jail awaiting transport to the Missouri Department of Corrections, where he belongs for life. But he's only getting 20. He'll probably be paroled in 10. Sad. Arkansas State Police and the Izard County Sheriff's Office arrested a 55-year-old Calico Rock man on suspicion of distributing thousands of files of child sexual abuse material. According to a news release, agents with the ASP's Internet Crimes Against Children's Task Force and deputies executed a search warrant Tuesday, March 26th, at the home of this chomo about ready to get eaten by the sharks, Mark Van Gorder. The ASP said investigators discovered thousands of files of child sexual abuse material that have been downloaded and shared from Van Gorder's home in the 200 block of Highway 56. A judge then found probable cause to charge Van Gorder with 100 counts of distributing, possessing, or viewing of matter depicting sexually explicit conduct involving a child. Van Gorder is being held in the Izard County Detention Center in lieu of a $250,000 bond. See ya, chomo.
When a child experiences trauma, they can be stripped of their ability to imagine. But imagination is colors. All the colors. Imagination is freedom and whatever you want it to be. But a child without imagination is not a child at all. Will you help defend our right to imagine?